Hey guys, it's Saturday. I'm just stitching up a video here and I wanted to say a couple items because it's driving me nuts. Number one, you may want to just speed up the video a bit. Trust me, I wasn't drunk or anything like that. It was just in the teens the whole time I made this video. My whole face was frozen. I'm wearing like 6 layers of clothes and spikes on the shoes. I just couldn't talk, so pardon the slow pace of speech. And item number two, at one point I had pulled the cylinder stem, which was about 400 pounds. I pulled the eye out, and then it was sitting on the rubber mount of the cylinder, self-supported, and I installed some chains, and it looks like I'm carrying the weight of the 400-pound stem against the steel chain without a cloth between the two. Would never do that. You don't ever want to do that. You don't want to nick the surface of the polished cylinder stem. Creates nicks that chews away at the seals, and that is bad. It's going to ruin all your work. So that's not what's going on, and please enjoy this video. Thank you.
This was kind of interesting. So this guy is leaking. I already made a video rebuilding a cylinder in the field, but I thought this was kind of interesting. It's quite a bit larger than that Bobcat one I did, so we're gonna seal up the lines, put a bucket here, undo this, take this stem. We may have to weld some reinforcements, some chains to loosen the gland nut. I won't know until I pull it off. Might need to get some chains over the beam here, hold this in place while we pull this off. We shall see. Alright, so this is the world's most expensive seal kit, or at least the most expensive that I bought. Yeah, so normally they're between 80 and 200 bucks, and this guy was almost $500. It's for a JLG, which is German. It's under 30 degrees, so it's hard for me to move my mouth fast. I'm just trying to talk as succinctly as I can. So here's the strategy. I already knocked the pin out in the front. Got this guy supporting. The whole novelty of the business is to try to get this up and running in a single day without having to remove the whole cylinder, wham bam, that sort of thing. And normally it works quite well. Usually what I'll do is vent the lines, but this being a telehandler, I call them great alls because they're the first to come up with them. Like Bobcats are skid steers no matter who makes them, but this is a telehandler, and it's got a hydraulic lock at the end of this big fat cylinder here. And it's the same as that crane video I made earlier. This is a steel line, so if it breaks, the hydraulic lock will prevent it from falling and killing somebody, right? But the problem is, in order to get the cylinder out, I'm going to have to dig into that mess in there, which is going to take a long time. And like I said, I want to try to keep it under one day. So instead, I'm going to put a 15-gallon oil pan there, undo this guy here, and then push it out slowly, and then hopefully I'll be able to get the gland nut out while it's hanging like a Christmas tree ornament with these chains here. I'm gonna put one more chain there. You notice this breaker bar. This thing is not the cap for the spanner wrenches and spinning. I have a feeling somebody tried tightening it thinking that'll take care of the leak, so I'm gonna hit this cylinder with some oxygen acetylene. It will damage the seals, but since the seals are getting replaced, it won't matter. And hopefully I can get it out without shearing the pins off my spanner wrench there. Alright. Alright. 20-something degrees. I don't think it's in the teens. This job I'm working on over there, it's not going so smooth. Spikes in the shoes. Slipping on this ice here. So I basically was called out to do a reseal on this telehandler. Got the stem out, no problem. Gland nut here, that came out no problem, but this guy won't budge. I heated the whole thing up with oxygen acetylene. My regular spanner wrench, the pins are about to shear, so I threaded the holes and I used these larger grade 8 bolts, and I literally bolted the spanner wrench to this piston, and I took an 8-foot bar. Bar is just bending like hell. I've got this thing temporarily welded right on the thick plate here, not in the box, to stabilize the arm. And I can't get this thing to budge. I know this thing was supposedly rebuilt 6 months ago and it's still leaking. I know sometimes they'll try to remove the piston without taking that set screw out, and then when that happens they'll just rip the threads and this thing won't come out, and that might actually be the case. But with the spanners bolted with the larger bolts, the 8-foot breaker bar was just bending, and I was about to shear the bolts, which I didn't want to do, so I stopped. I'm now going to weld this 3-inch socket right there, and I'm going to take a tire gun to it. I don't think it's going to work, but I'll try that first, and if not, then from there I'll use the torque multiplier. Probably going to end up ripping threads pulling this out. Don't know yet, but normally when you got to use a torque multiplier, it's like a transmission. It's a hex nut, right? A hex head nut. But usually these guys come out pretty easy with this thing's being a booger, so see what happens. Gonna heat it up again with oxygen and acetylene before I do anything. All right. Got the guy welded. This is my most powerful air gun. I got more powerful things, but let's do it. It's definitely not speeding up, so I'm sure I'm ripping threads now, but it's unavoidable. All right, here we go. All right, so I reinstalled this guy now. Got this piston head loose. It's quite the challenge. So I'm gonna now do the normal seal swap. Cut the weld, clean everything up. But we gotta change seals for this. We gotta change seals for this. All right. About to do a cylinder rebuild here. This little short's gonna be part of the larger video. I got the gland nut and the piston off. Had to weld a socket to it. It wasn't budging. This is not an abnormal amount of seals, but this is definitely more on the larger side. A bountiful amount of seals. I made a video a week ago. It was a little cylinder on a Bobcat track tensioner, and they had put the anti-extrusion ring backwards. So the job of this guy is to sit behind this and prevent the rubber seal from vomiting in between the cylinder wall and the piston head. And it was put in backwards. So anti-extrusion ring always downriver from the high pressure side. All right, thanks. All right, piston resealed, polished up. Got a little lube in the tube. Now I'm going to use these ratchet straps to line up the angles. This one goes up, that one goes down. Might stick another ratchet strap here, slowly get it in, and then once it's in, lined up correctly, I will be most likely either using a come along or an impact hammer to get it through. All right, it's in. Gotta tighten up the cylinder lock in the back, and then we're gonna test it. Okay, Go for it.
Fuera.
Thank you, senor. Just don't hit those power lines.
No vaya a pegar todo el reloj nomás.
All done. Thank you.